We are here at the party at ProtonHQ. We're with a guy who brought this all together, Charles Darling, founder of Proton.Sports and the Proton pickleball paddles. How you doing today?
I'm excited and honored that everyone came out to check out our new paddles and hear more about us, and certainly excited about our partnership with PickleballCentral as well.
We're very excited to be launching these with you. And I want to kind of go through the paddles today and tell people a little bit about the paddle itself and then who's it for, who would be playing with this.
I like that.
We're going to take a look at some things people have heard about and seen out there, and one thing that they haven't yet, so this is pretty exciting. So let's start. We're going a little out of order, but we want to save the best for last. But let's start with all well-made products, and we're going to start with Series 2. What's the idea behind this paddle, and who's it for?
Okay, so first, with all of our paddles, we have put great attention to detail on different metrics for each of them, but all of them are made with carbon fiber that is far exceptional than anything that you would see on the market right now. Same carbon fiber we're using on our softball bats. Our main thing is a value proposition to our customers that says buy a Proton and it's not going to fade out on you in a week or a month or 3 months. You're going to get a lot of good use and a lot of value out of our products and enjoy them and have fun with them. But first, our Series 2, this paddle's probably the softest paddle on the market. That's the feedback that we've been getting. Certainly when we engineered this paddle, it was to be very soft. This paddle's been winning a lot of medals every PPA event in that 3.0 to 3.5, 4.0 range. I know a lot of great 4.0 players that swear by this paddle. It's done really well locally and any place that has them out on demo. So for the players out there that are looking for something that's really soft, that has a tremendous amount of control, that has an exceptional feel to it, this paddle is exceptional. We love how it turned out as well as far as the aesthetics, which we put a lot of pride into on top of our engineering and technology. We love our looks as well. So for those looking for a softer paddle, John, I don't know if there's one better than that. But
Well, the Proton paddles just look different, which I love. Really, they show up so much when you see them on a wall of choices.
Sure.
It pops. Elongated, an applied texture, but an applied texture that's got some life to it.
It does. A lot of the applied textures, like spray-on grits out there, they're really wearing down in, overnight it feels like. From the consumer perspective, it is overnight, right? Because the goal is to get a paddle that you have ideally for a year. And in the Series 1 case, maybe even for life. But it definitely has a better grit and a better life to it. Brady's over here using one that, you should see this thing. He probably has 500,000 hits on it and just been playing every single hour of every day, and it's still his gamer. No other paddle out there can withstand that type of beating and still provide good value.
So we love the Series 2, again, control-oriented, soft, elongated. Now let's look at something that was very common on the market, right? And done in an uncommon Proton way.
Sure.
But it's your raw carbon fiber paddle. This is a paddle that really has started to come on recently, and you've made some updates to the Series 3. Tell us about it.
So this is going to be released here in a couple weeks through PickleballCentral. This is our new updated Series 3, right? So currently on the pro level, we have CJ Klinger, we have Alex and Angie Walker currently using this paddle. They're using the version 1 of the Series 3. This is the Series 3.2. This has, I can say this with confidence based on testing results, has the roughest face of any raw carbon paddle on the market. This paddle is scoring a 47.4 RT score out of the maximum 48, and we've confirmed that through our own testing that we've acquired through independent entities like Pickle Pro Labs that do all the paddle testing and certification for PPA and MLP events. So you can just, John, you felt this, right? It's very rugged.
Yeah, I shaved with one this morning.
So on this particular paddle here, we use a ruggedized resin. The face of this was not intended to make contact with anything, right? It was meant to have a roughness for epoxy and things to be applied to it. but it is effective to provide grab for a pickleball, which is what the market has done with this raw carbon face. With this one here, we just have made a better one. You can tell it's a denser, higher quality carbon fiber, and because of that, we have a finer cut on the face of it. Very rough, you can feel it with your fingertips. It's also gonna last longer, I would say probably 2 to 4 times longer than any of the other raw carbon face paddles that are on the market. So good value here as well. The sweet spot on this one, I swear, is from end to end. And we have every paddle reviewer here today pretty much. And they'll be helping carry that message after they play with it independently and are able to provide their honest feedback to you guys. But huge sweet spot, great sound, great feel, rough face, lots of power. On this one here, we've pushed it to the envelope of the maximum allowable power that is being regulated. So very proud of this. And also, we have multiple colors on our paddle face here. I don't know if that showed up here, but typically your raw carbon face paddle will either have only 1, 2, or 3 at the most colors, and we have 7 here. And we've got gradient, and it sparkles in the sun. So once again, tremendous amount of attention put to the detail as well.
Yeah, this is a paddle that feels familiar.
Yes.
People on the market are going to be able to pick it up, say, oh, I felt this before, but then again, the added technologies that you're putting in there, very, very gritty. I enjoyed playing with it. It felt like something I could take to the court and play right now.
That's correct. Yeah, it's immediately familiar because that's just because most players have been playing with raw carbon paddles. And most people judge how good a paddle is not by it necessarily being better or worse, but based on what's most familiar. This paddle's very familiar. It's just a higher quality version of the other raw carbons that are out there right now. Everywhere this paddle is, it's the #1 seller. So that includes 3 retail shops, an indoor pickleball facility, and a country club. But that's probably only because they haven't had the Series 1s. But this is a great paddle. And also, John, everyone that buys a Proton gets paddle assurance. If you don't love it, then swap it out with one of our other models. If you don't love any of those, then we don't want someone having something that doesn't work for them. And we'll take that back.
That's great when a business is willing to stand behind its
100%.
product, and you guys certainly are. Now, let's go to Series 1. This is a paddle that is different.
It is.
You feel it. It feels different. When you get out there and play, there's a little bit different playability to this paddle at first. So it's one that you want to give some time and really get to know the paddle. I like how you said build a relationship with your paddle.
You will with
so
this
tell
one.
us about your Series 1.
Okay, so there's one entity out there right now that's reviewed this, which is John Q. Very technical. He cut this in half, and he was able to validate what we have said, which is there's no other paddle on the market built like this. It's a very unique construction. A tremendous amount of investment and hours and R&D went into the development of this paddle. But what you have here is it's smooth to the touch. It literally feels smooth. This is an old NASA application that provides tremendous resistance, right? So you're going to get, we went up to the maximum allowable. We came within 1/100th of the maximum allowable spin RPMs, and we're there. The other neat thing about this is this coating will never wear down. It will just, I'm calling it right now, it won't wear down. You're going to have the same spin in 3 years that you will have today. Now the remainder of it could break down on it, but this coating, we call it everlasting spin. So tremendous value for the people that are so bummed that there's the spin on their spray-on grits and the spin on their raw carbon paddles is gone in a month. That won't be the case here. We guarantee the spin and the coating for life. It's a very well-made paddle, uniquely made. This paddle here, you will get more than a year's worth of play on this paddle. We have Megan has been using one Series 1 the entire season this year since we signed her. So that's all of her PPA and MLP events. Andre Diescu used 1 all of last year. And the only reason why he changed is because we updated the colorway, and he's been using 1 this entire year as well. So and he's hitting all day long every day. So he probably has 500,000 reps on the paddle. It does take a little bit to break in. If you pick it up and go, anything good has a break-in period as it pertains to carbon fiber life cycle. So honestly, the longer it takes to break in, the longer and more value you're going to get out, the longer it's going to last. So if you pick up a Series 1, within 2 weeks you're going to call us and say, oh my goodness, this is the best paddle that I've used, and it's going to hold and sustain for you for a long time.
And we want people to know that when it breaks in, it's not what we've experienced with some other paddles where we start to get that what was called delamination, which could be called crushed core. That's not what's happening with your paddles, because once it breaks in, it doesn't continue.
It stays there. So that's the difference between break down and break in. The other paddles are breaking down. If it feels good from the first hit, that means you're not going to get much life out of it, right? That's just, same with softball bats, same with anything that's carbon fiber. So that's usually a testament to a cheaper carbon fiber. If it feels good on first hit, you're not going to get much life out of it. These feel good on first hit, but the sound's going to change, the sweet spot expands, and then it's just going to hold those performance metrics for a very long time, and we stand behind that as well.
It really is fun to play with. The spin you get on it is next level. We've talked for years that friction's not the only way to get spin, right? Adhesion works as well.
Yes.
And that's what's happening here. The ball just sticks to the paddle. It's fantastic.
It grabs it very well, yeah. It's a fun paddle. You'll enjoy it. And like I said, if you don't, we'll swap you out with something else. But this has a very high adoption rate.
It's the one people are talking about, the one you've seen all over social, the one people are waiting for. Now, the one maybe you haven't heard about is this newest one, Series 4, brand new, going to be coming out here with Pickleball Central, Series 1, 2, 3, and 4. Tell us about Series 4.
Okay, so this one we have a tremendous amount of R&D and tremendous amount of investments. We created new molds. This is a carbon-faced paddle with no edge guard. Okay, this paddle has bidirectional carbon fiber weave in it. It doesn't utilize a raw carbon face is basically destroyed carbon fiber to create that roughness. This doesn't have that. This uses Kevlar fibers to generate the roughness and the spin. It's soft but powerful. It's an exceptional paddle. We're tremendously impressed with Project Roadrunner. Tremendously impressed with this paddle here, and these will be available in a couple weeks at Pickleball Central. This is another paddle where there's not one like it on the market, right? With the Series 2 and Series 3, we were trying to create something that was familiar with just a better raw carbon-faced paddle and a better soft edgeless paddle. But this one here stands alone like our Series 1. And I just am so impressed how this turned out cosmetically as well. So these will be available for demo at in a lot of different places, but I think right now, if the people that you asked that have played with this, like Andre, Travis Rettenmeyer, Megan, some of the paddle reviewers, Thomas, are all very impressed with this particular paddle here, and we are as well.
And one thing I was amazed as you pick it up, it's not a brick, it's not super heavy.
It's super light.
With Kevlar, oftentimes you see a heavier paddle. How were you able to achieve the weights? What are the weights and how were you able to achieve that?
So good question. I don't know the exact weights. That would be a Brant question. We can go weigh one real quick, and I know that we have that data down, but bottom line is it has no edge guard, right? So basically an edge guard is just an ounce of dead weight, right? So this whole strip here weighs about an ounce, so you're adding just weight to the end. So we don't have that. It's a very light paddle, quick to maneuver. Feels like a surgical instrument, but still has a carbon face on it. That was not easy to do. But you can also add as much weight as you want to it as well, and it's easy to put it on, but you can't take any off. But, I'm so impressed with how these turns out right here. This is a special paddle. I know it's going to be a revolutionary paddle that we're going to see at a lot of the courts across the country.
So between all the models and then on that Series 1, all the different options you've got, there's a Proton paddle out there that'll fit your game.
Yes, there is.
Now it's your chance to get them at Pickleball Central, try them out for yourself. We know you're going to like it. Really appreciate it, Charles. And
John,
let's go have a party.
And I'm thrilled about our relationship. It's really neat. John is actually the one that came up with this idea, so I'm excited to be working with Pickleball Central. They're the best in the biz for taking care of their customers, and yeah, let's go have some fun.
Thanks.
Yeah, thanks guys.